Hello, everyone. Welcome to the HighScores webinar. In today's webinar, we are going to talk about some of the recent and exciting changes made on the platform as well as on the content. As you know, we do a new release every 2 weeks, and we talk about what we have made. We talk about what we have made changes in the platform. All these requests came from someone like you who wanted to, make the platform more usable. And thank you very much for giving those suggestions. I'm going to talk one by one. Today, we are going to talk in two parts. One, we will talk about the platform related updates. And then later on, we will also talk about questions and tests. We refer that as a content. Now, first change that we have brought is to add the line reader in the PSAT or SAT assessment view. Earlier, this change was not there. And let me zoom the screen. You can see on the platform itself, on the screenshot here, that we have added what we call it line reader. This feature is already available in the new version of Blue Book, and we wanted to bring that feature also on the platform to make sure that the student get consistent experience when they are practicing on the platform in HighScores and when they take the real SAT. That's one of the change. We have brought it, the line reader part. When you switch it on, you will see the line numbering on the left side in the reading comprehension panel here. The next one is weekly flagged question summary report. Now, as you know, we have provided a feature using which you can flag a question. But then flagging the question, when our team goes and reviews it, a teacher or a director, whoever has flagged the question, gets a notification. But in many cases, you also wanted to, get a comprehensive view of what you made change, what you requested, and whether the change was done or not. So we have decided to create a report, and we plan to send it to everyone, all the institutes, assuming that your institutes, either your student or your teacher has flagged one or more questions, you will get this report on a weekly basis. And that will give you an idea that, when we claim that we're going to review the questions and update within 24 hours, based on your feedback, we actually do that. And it will also give you the satisfaction that your concerns are being addressed. So we wanted to address that. And I have got that feedback report. I can quickly show you the feedback report here on my desktop. So one of the institute had reported this, and you can see that issue was reported by Mike. They reported on this particular date, what is the current status, what was the feedback. And before making the changes, at the time of reporting this question, what was the instruction and question. And if we have made changes, you will see on the right side. Now, due to technological limitations, it is a little hard right now for us to show visually, like highlighting the text of what exactly changed, etc. But eventually we'll come there. But that's a good first start right now. We also plan to build a dashboard eventually so that you can see all of your reported questions on the platform itself. So I'll keep you posted. We have started working on it. We are in the design process. We want to give a nice dashboard where you can see all your questions reported, whether you reported or your students reported. You will see that. Next one, you talk about the SAT, ACT view for practice question. So I would say right now, when you take a SAT test, either full length test or section test, you will see the same screen as you see in the Blue Book. But when you create a linear test or 20 question practiced for your students, or when a student starts practicing, they used to see a different screen. We call it a default view, which is like a the plain vanilla screen where you can actually go and take a test. But then again, experience what would be different. Now, when you create a linear test or 20 questions from 20 question test, either self-practice or you do a test from question bank, the student will see exactly the same screen. So idea is to keep them most of the time, or always, I would say now, on the same interface that they will experience in the real SAT, which is Blue Book interface. So now Blue Book interface is also available for linear tests. We also added a new feature where we we had provided a filter for solution page answer grade. So on the solution tab, you will go on this tab, you will see that answer sheet now has a filter. So you can quickly filter down and say, okay, I want to see only English static, the question wise, like which one was wrong and all. And this data point, these data points, questions will be filtered based on what you have selected on the from this drop down. By default, we show all. Third one is there was no way for you to find or identify quickly the bookmarked questions or flagged questions on the solution page. So now you can see that we have provided a feature here. We added these two options which were not there earlier, the flagged question as well as bookmarked questions on the solution tab. Now you should be able to quickly check what are the questions student flagged it, you want to go and review it. Apart from the questions the student got it wrong. Same thing with the bookmarked question. And I think it's a good idea to regularly check whether students are using the bookmark feature or flagged feature of the platform. Now, what's coming next? Couple of changes. Again, right now we have started our technology migration and technology upgrade and migration. So we are kind of for a couple of sprints, a couple of weeks, we are going to tone down on number of new features unless it comes from one of you. So when there is a feature, then of course that takes a higher priority and we will work on that immediately. So one feature that we are planning to work is ongoing test reset. So suppose a student started taking a test and he closed the browser or shut down the laptop and left, never finished the test. The test remains in the ongoing status. And if you especially set number of attempts as 1 in the test preferences, then student will not be able to take the test again. So you can go and mark the test as finished or actually abandoned. That way student will be able to retake the test. So you will see that button. Right now system automatically does every 12 hours, but then you can do it on demand also. We wanted to give you that power to you, that control, so that you can, you can mark that push test abandoned when a student takes a test. Okay. Another change that we are bringing is reviewer access in the control room classroom settings. So right now, let me show you what is happening right now. That way you will be able to understand. So let's say I open one of the classroom here. In this classroom, when I go to settings, all I see is instructor as, there is an option for instructor. Now instructor can go and remove or add or remove the students and also can go and add or remove assessments. So we are going to, in many cases, this requirement came from one of you, that you want to just give them a review permission. You don't want the teacher to change anything in the students or change anything in the assessments. You simply want to go and review the classroom performance, or sorry, the student performance or classroom performance. So we will be adding another block here that will say reviewer, and they will have limited permissions in this classroom. Those teachers will have limited permissions in the classroom. That is what the change is about. Now, a lot of changes coming on the content side. So we have two teams. We have a technology team that is working on the product, the platform. And at the same time, we have another team of experts, international ICT tutors who are working to update our content and create new content. When I say content, I mean the questions and the test and all. Okay. So some of the things we are doing right now is we have already done is we created a new set of PSAT test based on the Blue Book test recently released by College Board. So you can see those tests we have created, and we have given little harder questions. Again, we want the student to do well in the actual PSAT. You can see some of these tests are already there. Now, how do you access these tests? If you go here, create a classroom, go to the assessment, you should be able to filter here based on PSAT section or PSAT full length or section adaptive, however you see that. You should be able to use one of these tag and filter the question and filter the test and see that. Okay. Now going back, we have also based on the suggestions, we have started enriching our question pool with more harder questions. And you will see more and more harder questions. But again, we do not want to create unnecessarily harder questions because it will defeat the purpose of test prep, especially SAT, ACT, or PSAT. But then we want to also meet the, the latest, hardness in the actual tests. And we have been keeping a close eye on different forums, including Reddit and all. And we have been making an idea on what type of questions are coming. And accordingly, we are going to make those changes here. So stay tuned. We have already added 70, and we are going to add another, I would say roughly 150 questions more. And the idea is not going to stop. We'll continue to add more and more harder questions to challenge the student, and especially those 2, 3, maybe 4 questions that comes toward the end of hard section in the real SAT. Now, also, right now, we are revising some of our tests. So this is exciting. This is really a game changer. What we plan to do is, and again, we have been working with several institutes, and all of this, some of partners like you have been very, very helpful in giving us ideas on, making some of these tests a little bit harder. So one thing is, when a student comes, and right now most of our tests are matching or exceeding the level of college board tests. But we want to challenge the student. If the student starts scoring more than 1500, then they do not have any motivation to stay in your organization or your institute or in the classroom. So what we are doing is, we are splitting our 12 tests into a set of 6 and 6. So first 6 tests will remain unchanged, and we'll again communicate to you. The 6 tests that we are taking is, here are the changes. We are going to swap the static module with the easy module. So this way, our current static module will become our new easy module. And then hard module will become static module. This way, student will actually start with harder questions. So they will feel challenged, and accordingly, system will decide should they go to easy and, or hard, new hard. And then we are introducing a new harder module with more challenging questions, and especially in the math side is what we are doing. So these 6 tests is what you should give it. They will be a little bit harder. You should give it to your student during the practice. They can also take these 6 tests, but then with this first 6 tests here, this block, the student will feel challenged definitely, and they will struggle a little bit to, score, 1500 or more. And that way they will be motivated to, study with you, learn from you, and practice more. So that's intentional, as I said. Rather than keeping all 12 tests at the same level, we are changing this, the 6 set of tests. Okay, hope you will like it and give us the feedback. And again, this is an evolution. We'll continue to evolve. We take your feedback. We work with you. So we want to make sure that all the work we are doing is really usable to you and help your student get better scores. As I said, we are also adding another 150 challenging questions. Now we are also adding 4 ACT English section tests. So right now we don't have a lot of English section tests. We are adding, in the next release, you will see 4 new ACT section tests. We already have what we call it 7 + 4 + 4. So in our test, you will see 7 full-length ACT test, 4 math test. You will also see 4 reading and 4 science. But what we don't have is 4 English test. And that is what we are working right now. So now you will see the 4 English tests too. So that's another thing I want to tell you. Now, lastly, but not the least, the DSAT explanation updates. So in the DS, one of the challenge right now is when we have written explanation for a question, we want a student to learn from it. So why one of the option is wrong is not very well explained. And even the correct answer, it has in many questions, we have not gone in depth and created those explanations from learning perspective. So now we are refining it, and you will see stepwise solution of each problem, and also, better explanation on those questions, which are those options which are not correct. Yeah. So you will see both of these in the answer explanation. Again, this is a lot of work because not only the full length test and section test we are revising, especially on the math section, we are also doing this for the question bank questions, and that is a lot of work because we have close to 3,000 questions on the question bank. So stay tuned. We are continuously making these changes. We are continuously improving it, and we are also learning from you and making this platform better and better for you. That's all for today. I'll connect you again in 2 weeks, where I will provide you an update on some of these changes. Thank you again. Have a great day.